Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, back once again in Newfoundland and Labrador as a very sick matriarch Kira seeks to continue pushing towards the Empire of Canada. We were waylaid a bit on the last episode by a rebellion, which Kira has managed to put down. We still have a few prisoners left over from that, two of them that we're waiting on them to get some money. Chieftain Conrad, I was thinking of getting some money from him, but he doesn't like me. He doesn't have much of an army, though. Do you know what? You're not much to be feared, so we will ransom you out. I was going to demand instead that he convert to our religion. Fog Song, I was going to say Insular there for a moment. Now, we have a number of issues facing us as we seek to establish the Empire of Canada. We have a number of major powers, and we're going to have to rip them apart piece by piece because we need another 40 counties. And as can be seen, just to get these 3 counties here would cost us 794 prestige, predominantly because of the size of our realm, and that is just going to increase and increase and increase further as our conquests go on. So what we're going to have to try and do first is get some alliances together, get more troops, because even though we are one of the largest powers in the region, we don't actually have a huge amount of troops ourselves, and we have a lot of very low control areas, which are going to take a very, very long time to recover. So, our son, Cecil, I'm not too sure who his father is, it's not Cecil anyway, that's one thing for sure. We're going to marry Cecil, our son, to Irene Vandebronx, who is bringing in an alliance from Catskill of 2,300 troops. And his sister Haley, who is currently our player heir, we will marry for the alliance to Cindy Griffin, the daughter of the chiefess of Up North, the scaly, denounced daughter of the chiefess of Up North with her 3,200 troops. And it's maybe a good time to go looking for those alliances because we have another Liberty faction just after putting down a massive civil war. Angus. Kira's lover Angus, they've had a bit of a falling out. I think Angus was part of the last Liberty faction. A couple of people jumped ship fairly early on. We're going to try and sway Angus. There's been a bit of a falling out. He's the father of most of her children. And then we have Chieftain Masson, who we put in his position. He was a rebel, I believe, and we gave him a peasant leader, and we gave him a county. Now he's betrayed us. Helmar II, we executed his grandfather, so yeah, it's going to be tough to get him on side. Doesn't have much of an army. And we have the Spectral Moose Mercy. Well, most of the forces, do you know what? It's not much of an army, but most of it is coming from Angus, so we'll try and get Angus back on side. To the most serene matriarch Kira of Newfoundland and Labrador, I gladly accept your marriage proposal. Your daughter and heir, Haley, and my sister, Cindy, I thought it was actually her daughter, will be joined in holy matrimony. Why anyone would want to marry that obnoxious bitch is beyond me, but I wish them well. Right, poor Tiaramara, we're going to have to declare a war to take Clodagh Athua. So it's about 3 counties. We're going to declare a holy war, which is 230 piety. We're not making a huge amount, so we'd want to try and get some way of generating more. While we still have her at our disposal, we will get our sister-in-law and cousin, Liliana, to join. I am a bit worried about... Where's he gone to? About Cecil. His health was bad there for a while. He's delicate, and he's infirm, and he's melancholic. Oh, bless. Now there's their 3,200 troops actually heading up towards our territory, but what we're going to do is we're going to take their capital. So they're heading up into the region, I think Sydney is over here, where we have our holy site. And we have lost the ill trait, nothing like starting a war to pick yourself up. Well, Divil Nichette has managed to escape our prison, and she's not happy. We see some armies crawling up. I'm not too sure how they've managed, or what the hell has gone on, that they've... What's going on here? We've captured a valuable prisoner, and we're already at 78% war score. Now, unfortunately, I've had to slightly split the army. We have a small section coming out here under Chieftain Claude. We're trying to sway Angus, because we have a tiny, tiny little group led by the Wolves of Lanark, adventurer scholars, which have landed here. I didn't expect that they'd manage to actually chip away at this place, but fair play to them. They have. Just as they were about to finish that siege, the poor adventurous scholars. And we've won our battle, so I presume this is actually going to bring us into a war against somebody else now. We will enforce our demands on Tiaramara. We gained a sanctified stained glass shard. And actually that's just outside the region that we were attacking. Here is our new vassal from the region that we have just conquered. Banduk Ros Nick Nicole of Clodach Athua. She's incestuous, an incestuous adulterer. Boys, oh boys. And she doesn't much like me, to say the very least. So we're going to begin swaying her. This is going to be hard. So it looks like we've put down the majority of that faction that was against us. I think we've managed to get Angus out of it for now. So who is currently at war with Tiaramara is Penobscot, and they're going to take, presumably, this region here. Now the problem is that we have to take this duchy, we have to take this county, and we have to take whatever they conquer here as well. So they're creating quite a lot of problems for us, unless they accepted vassalage, which I doubt they will. Now, I would like to go to war with them, but I have neither the prestige nor the piety to do so. So what we're going to do instead is head for Upper Quebec. There's some plague going around. They're involved in 2 wars, which they're doing A-OK in at the moment. Now, if I don't have the piety or prestige to declare war on Penobscot, how would I have either to do the same down here? Well, the chiefess of this region here has a claim on these 2 counties, which makes the whole thing a whole lot cheaper. And we'll give our poor cousin Liliana a bit of a break. We're going to call Olympia into this war, so this is up north. Our allies arrive in. I just saw Hastings change colour, so I imagine this is where Upper Quebec's... And there you go. Upper Quebec's main army is probably in this region. Now, the awkward thing is that their capital is way over here. So we're not going to be going anywhere in that direction. I've split the army in 2. Somebody who actually has a claim to this entire region, but would then end up splitting away if we were to push it, is Prince Sewell, who is stark naked. He's 70, and he's refusing to wear clothes. In the midst of this war, one of our vassals, Chiefess Bernadette Neverman, a Fog Song Cheesehead, has arrived at the court, bringing us a great and glorious gift, a feline companion. You know the score. Every time a cat shows up, it's either Pangur Dove or Pangur Bone. This time, it would have been Pangur Don, but we're going to go instead. We're going to call the cat Cecil. I'm sure neither our distant husband nor our eldest son will find this strange. What a great name. I was just beginning to send one of our armies, which doesn't have siege machinery, over here to begin a siege, and as I brought this one in, but now we're going to have to actually take the 2 of them, merge them together, because we have the 1st Army of York. I'm hoping that our vassals, or our allies, come back, I should say. So we're going to put the army under the command of Prince Sewell of Ontario. He absolutely hates me. I'm afraid to click on his portrait. With good reason. Where is his... So there's Zachary. Poor old Zachary died under mysterious circumstances. Zachary, we gave him some land. I think they have committed. So in they go, and we have a bit of an advantage against them. The Queen is so shocked at seeing her distant cousin, stark naked, coming at her with an axe. It'd upset any of us to see that, in all fairness. And look at this, fair play to her. In 3 months, the remembrant populace under Banduke Rose, 27,000 troops. She's going to start causing trouble for us. That incestuous adulterer. She's going to start causing trouble for us. She wants a seat on the council, which would knock 40 off of that. And I've gotten a stewardship bonus, which gives me plus 20 to councillor opinion. So we could bring her to minus 19. Let's assign her as our marshal. She's not much good at anything, and I'm not going to put her in as spy master. Not yet. Not yet. So that's brought her to minus 9. And it looks like Upper Quebec is heading out to see what it can see. And unfortunately, we have failed in our attempts to prevent an uprising in Tiramara. If you want freedom, you will have the freedom of death. So this is absolutely hilarious. The attackers plus 96 opinion of us. Rally the troops. Well, Rose is gone from the council. Masson was threatening to rebel against us at one stage. We will restore him. I actually have no other powerful vassals who are expecting a position. Claude was in there at one stage, but Masson has much better traits, and it's still taken 5 years to deal with control increase. So we're in a bit of an issue. I'm trying to send... Is it because it's the smaller of the two armies? I was trying to send Prince Sewell's, or the larger I should say. I was trying to send Prince Sewell's army north to help with the rebellion, but then our up north allies will follow them. So at the moment, I have called in Liliana of Maine. So we have our Children of the Moving Tide, and we now have Liliana. So possibly we can get some troops together to march south. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. And there it is. Our alliance with Liliana is gone. He was good for absolutely nothing else, bar keeping that alliance going. Beat himself to death, you goddamn idiot. You goddamn melancholic, infirm, delicate idiot. I was wondering why it looked like he'd been in a fight. He was in a fight with himself. Oh, god damn you to hell. We're going to have to wait until the war is over to try and get that alliance back together. I would marry Travis Cranford for his very high stewardship skills. The problem is that it's going to give us, because he's unlanded, it's going to give us minus 300 prestige, which we can't really suffer at the moment, and that's about it. There's nobody else. The only alliances we would get would be with our cousins. I say that like I'm not going marrying one of our own children to a cousin anyway, but... Oh, god damn it. So Cecil flagellates himself to death because he's melancholic and infirm. This lad is still going. This lad has been causing awful problems for us, but he will give us some gold. He'll give us a lot of gold, and we need it. Where is up north going? Morgan's position has been vacated. Unfortunately, they are going to cause substantial trouble to us. They got 3,200 troops, so up north has gone off in a mad old direction. I'm not too sure if we'll be able to get our forces in on time. It does not look like it. It does not look like it. Thanks, up north. That's what I literally have you here for, is to help with the war. Thanks a million. So, our groundhog keeper has been taken prisoner. And to make things worse, what absolute devastation for poor Kira. The love of her life, Chief Angus of Ottawa, has been killed by Jamal in that battle. That up north, I still don't even know where up north is. It's basically now jeopardizing the entire war effort because we have this Upper Quebec's army bearing down on naked Prince Sewell. He's taken off everything for speed. That's why he's doing it, for speed. It allows him to move faster. We're not going to move you back in that direction. We'll move you this way. But Angus is dead. Which means that we are now down a number of chancellors. So we'll give stewardship to Munich, and we will give Spymaster. I think he's held this position before, or his father did. Eric III. He's at -69. He's now at +1. And actually, yeah, that was Munich's position before she was captured and then immediately released. So there's that war, that absolute slaughter. We only had 3 knights, 3 screechers against much larger forces on the enemy side, and there is Jamal, the devil. Now, the only good thing to come out of all of this is Matriarch Frederica is dying. She's not feeling well, worsened disease symptoms, and she is ill. Even though she's on a healthy and modest diet. And she's a cheesemonger, which gives her a health penalty, but it looks like she is dying, and I'm not too sure what that means for the future of this region. I don't think it's going to splinter apart. It's most likely going to go to her daughter, who has good, solid martial skills. Hopefully she has a good whip hand for beating herself across the back, and she goes the same way as Cecil, though. We don't exactly need the gold, and it might be bad timing to do this, but considering that Chieftess Antoinette has given birth to a child in our prisons. I forgot about this. We could... Oh no, we'll get the full 50. We kept you here a bit too long, sorry. And Sewell's army, well, that's an odd one. Sewell's army has been... Oh, I know what's happened. Well, that is a very odd one. Sewell's army has been caught as we win the war. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. The entire region has turned a different colour. It's became Ontario. Because we're now at war with this absolutely tiny region over here. Hell's bells. So that's all you get. You just get this tiny place over here. Whereas all the rest of Ontario has gone to Edna as their mother. Frederica III has died from being ill. Well, there you go. We will bring this war to an end. I don't know if it's going to do any good for Sewell, the poor man. And in the midst of all this anarchy, we're being invited to Blanche's feast. So we're going to head to that. We're not going to go to Tiaramara because they're not going to be happy. And there's a couple of regions down here that we could visit. This is Lower Quebec. So we have a bit of a crazy route, but after we finish with our feast, we're going to wander down here. We're going to visit Quebec City, Montreal, which we were thinking about making our capital. Potsdam, Ottawa will deliver our commiserations on the death of Angus to his family. We have a bit of unhappiness around the place, but I've managed to make it as risk-free of a journey as possible. Sewell, the poor man, has landed and is heading in. Thankfully, some of our cousins' forces are coming as well. We've left some besiegers here at the capital. We should get everybody in eventually, as long as we can hold at the very start. 2 of our guests make their way across a narrow, rocky watercourse, but because we're sadistic, we're going to tell them this will hasten our journey. Indeed. And it looks like we're slowly getting those forces in. We've arrived at the feast, so Kira doesn't care less about what's going on. Gaining some prestige. Badly needed. And there is that rebellion defeated. You divil. You absolute divil. In a desperate bid to keep that alliance with Liliana of Maine going, we're going to organise a marriage between her son Coolidge and our daughter Leia. So he has the fit trait and she has lisping. So there's nobody else really that I was in a position to secure a marriage for of our children. One of them has the giant trait. Deborah has the giant trait. And Sidrak, bless him. And what an interesting prison we have here. Dewey, the peasant leader. He is robust. We will demand his conversion and recruit him. And the Banduke, who caused all of this trouble. She has absolutely no money. It doesn't make an ounce of a difference. We will negotiate her release, demand her conversion. Could we get a weak hook as well? Go on. During the feast, we have an opportunity to be seen with the great and good to gain some prestige. We badly need some prestige. There's High Chief Eric, our new-ish spymaster. He's been returned to the position that he held before. And here is the Banduke. What a mad, crazy career she's had. She's gone back down to minus 76. She was briefly our marshal. She has now converted to Fog Song. And poor Bernadette, who gifted us a cat at one stage, but absolutely hates us, she's trying to get out of the limelight. But because we are cruel and sadistic, we're going to say, come now, Bernadette. Tell us a story. And after all that, we will depart the feast with a bit of progress on the eager reveler trait. Not a whole heap of prestige, though. Just as we're heading down in this direction, I wanted to check what is up with Mad Prince Sewell. He is a lunatic. I've never seen this one before. He is said to be the reincarnation of his grandfather. Well, did he wear clothes? And at the moment, it is his daughter, Teresa Lascelles, that is going to succeed. I'm not too sure if Zachary's lands. They have indeed passed to his daughter. I think one of his other daughters gained some land. I'm not too sure. There was a couple of counties that I'd given to poor Zachary. This is the second time that we have seen an invasion of Ontario by the absolutely tiny state of Upper Quebec. It has 2,500 troops to its name, against 2,200 they are losing, however. I imagine that the clan of Upper Quebec is going to retake this region. The problem is that at the moment I could, if they were at peace, I could usurp the title of Upper Quebec and then have the ability to declare war on Ontario. We can't do that because once they win, then they will control this region again, and I can't usurp it, so we're going to have to declare war to seize these two counties, and I can do this even though we've just been to war with them, because I wasn't at war with them. I was at war with this region over here. Anyway, back to war. We will once again call in up north, and this time, hopefully, they won't mess things up. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. We have a war. Ivyland is making a claim on the county of Seacoast. The amount of wars that we have dragged this poor woman into, we will have to accept. I would hope and expect that she should be able to deal with this on her own. We have arrived home. And we are being told, first of all, that there is a raid somewhere. We were trying to take this region, and our allies had been half taking it and then abandoned when a siege occurred. Some of our territory is being raided, and that is a hefty raiding party. There's not a lot we're going to be able to do about that at the moment. Poor Edmund, the miracle worker of the Twin Crowns. He has thought himself the Newfoundlandese language, and we're going to mock him to gain 150 prestige. We've dropped to minus figures. I'm not entirely sure how we dropped into minus figures. I know we did spend a lot actually declaring this war, but that gets us out of that spot of bother. I'm waiting for our allies to siege down an area. Oh, you fools, you should have left. You should have left. So what we're going to have to do, because they're causing so much rambunctiousness, as we start to, unfortunately, bring the army up. So we're lifting the sieges down here. It's probably going to cause some problems. But that raiding army is too close to Montreal. It got 2 regions. It should have just left. You should have left. Our physician, Inasha, wants to do some unorthodox treatments involving dead bodies. There's a learning challenge. We would lose stress because we're a witch. However, we would gain piety and opinion with Prince Seawall, who absolutely detests me. We will not defile these bodies as much as I want to. So I think we've managed to get some loot and some prestige. Absolutely fantastic. Now back down we go to try and continue this war. And because we've managed to clear out that region, I'm going to hold a feast. And I'm going to hold it in Montreal, which has some buildings which will actually make the whole thing cheaper. The guest of honor is going to be Antoinette, who is stone mad and who gave birth in our prisons. It would be Prince Sewell, but he's out on the military campaign at the moment. We're going to try and befriend Eric III. After the feast ends, we're going down to Niagara Falls, and we're also going to have the highest level of dish complexity for the highest level of prestige gain. And I didn't actually realize I raised the Children of the Moving Tide. I sent them down, I landed them here, and Ivy Land has gone in against them. Now, it does actually look, we're coming in at the tail end of the battle, and it looks like we have a tiny advantage over them. I thought we should do something, not to somebody who I won't mention, getting very uppity and angry that we hadn't actually sent any forces to help. The absolute devil. We're trying to befriend Eric III. We've made him spymaster. He's caused a lot of trouble for us, and he's complaining about the food. It's a bit heavy, isn't it? We're going to tell him, you do realize this is my feast. 150 prestige. Now, these two absolute devils have almost destroyed Queen Morgan's goblet, one of our most cherished items. And we're going to side. We can pick which one of the two of them to side with. We're going to side with Chiefess Nishette. So, Inesha, how could you do this? Our caravan master and personal physician, they're going to lose some opinion with us, but they're going to pay us the money for damaging the cup. We could do with gaining a bit more prestige, but you know what? We're going to toast Antoinette. She did a great job. Doesn't she look great after giving birth in a prison? Fair play to her. We could have gotten some more prestige, but we'll hold off. Now, if you moved in this direction, we'd get them. And with that, it's all done. Courtly opinion, a good chunk of prestige. And our legitimacy level has increased. That's the most important thing. And with all that, we have the ability to gain the Eager Reveler trait for the next time that we hold a feast. So we've managed to hit them, which, like I said, I'd rather not have done. It's going to weaken them. Well, then again, they should have gone down here and dealt with this problem themselves. But I would like to try and bring this war to an end. There we go. We will enforce our demands. Now, instead of bringing the army up here, I've actually stood them down because we're on the verge, I would expect, of winning this war. So instead of going through the hassle of paying for them to travel up here, and maybe if we could siege that area down, would that bring this war to an end? I think so, because it's a war for Seacoast. We have an interesting stewardship perk. Vassals are less likely to join independence factions. I do want honor to serve for the extra money and the administrator, but do you know what? We have a good chunk of prestige at the moment, so we don't need to go back to this direction for majesty focus. So we will continue. We will continue for now and get those final two. Not quite the end, but we're not too far away. We're on 95, 96%. We're sending in our armies. It's entirely possible that they won't actually get in on time, I think. Are they going for the capital? No, they're just parking themselves there. I was going to attack the main army, but what they're going to do is go up and start sieging down places, so hopefully this is going to run down. And actually, the reason that the capital of Upper Quebec has moved is because House Lachlan has lost control. For the first time since 2711, they have lost control of Upper Quebec. Albert has inherited. His predecessor flagellated herself to death. God damn it. There should be health warnings on baiting yourself with a whip. And look at what this absolute divil has done. Regis of Penobscot has managed to conquer all of Tiramara. Now he's in a war against a Remembrant Uprising, which is currently has the upper hand on him. He's possessed, he's disfigured, he's reclusive, he's dying. And I'm not too sure what's going to happen if the whole thing will potentially split apart on his death. Now, the worst thing is that he will not accept vassalage. He is a duke, but he won't accept vassalage for a variety of different reasons, so I would say that we will declare a holy war for control of Nova Scotia, which will bring in 6 counties, which is absolutely fantastic, and will severely weaken him. And actually, that is one of the main regions this populist uprising has fired, so do you know what? We might accidentally end up helping him. Yeah, Nova Scotia is looking like it was a bad place to involve ourselves in. And we've also received the terrible news that something, I'm not too sure what, but something has happened to Punis, our Chancellor. So we will assign Nichette, who has been an interesting figure, to say the very least. And there it is, there is the update. Punis has died from stress. Drank himself to death. Well, do you know what? No better way to go. Melancholic, possessed. It's grand. When they beat themselves to death, I'm angry. When they drink themselves to death, well, sure, do you know what? Look, that's the way. That's double standards for you. Hell's bells, look at this for a fight. 100, what was it, 10,000? I was going to say 100,000. 10,000 peasants fighting against Penobscot. They actually did a fairly good job. Penobscot, badly outnumbered. And after a number of fights with our physician, who's now down to, that's not great, minus 86 for a physician, we gave out to her for something. Why? I can't remember. Oh, she wanted money. No, we don't have money. We have money, but we don't have money. So she has now begun to call Kira, Matriarch Kira, the Cruel. We lose prestige. God damn you, woman. Now, this is going to be interesting. We've won a siege over in this direction. We're going to enforce our demands to take control of Nova Scotia. And has that rebellion actually disappeared? It looks like it. Then again, I think it's actually targeting Penobscot. What we are seeing is some raiders, very, very badly timed. I thought we were sending in the Holy Order as well, but they have disbanded. So some raiders appeared at a very bad point in time. We'll get another sneaky war in. There is a single county here in Ontario that is ruled by a 10-year-old child. It was recently conquered and has then been inherited. They will not. We could spend ages trying to get them to accept vassalization. At this stage, it is a lot easier to just declare war. And as we do so, Upper Quebec has completed the conquest of Ontario. Upper Quebec is back. An easy enough victory. We will enforce our demands. And in our prison, we have Avril Ashby, an irrational stoner. We will negotiate her release by demanding her conversion. And she tells us that she has absolutely no choice but to accept. That is too true. And I'm now going to grant you the title of Ganaraska, because I think she was the former spy master here. It's not great. Have fun. Now, I was thinking about going back to Penobscot, but the thing is that once Reggie, his health is poor, once he passes away, this entire region is going to split apart, and we'll be able to declare war after war after war to take it. Whereas with Upper Quebec, it's one war at a time, and then we have to spend a period of time with a truce. Thankfully, I think that truce is gone. The truce that we had with the previous ruler, it is indeed. Unfortunately, we don't have time to rest. We have to go and look at another war. There is a duchy here, part of which is actually controlled by Upper Quebec, which is part of the Kingdom of Canada, or the Empire of Canada. So we're going to have to go to war with Twin Crowns to take this county in Newfoundland. I'm not too sure how he's managed to get it. We were getting lots of warnings about land leaving the Empire. We've had an absolutely chaotic scenario, especially with some of the lands that we captured down here, traveling out to other families. There's 5 territories in, I think it's in Nova Scotia, which will leave and go to Reggie if their rulers die. Now, I don't like declaring war on King Edmund, but we're probably going to have to as well to get that other duchy. So it's a war against Edmund now, and then probably next against Upper Quebec. If I could take some territory, that would allow me to get to Haliburton. Now, maybe this wasn't a fantastic idea, but I've raised all the forces outside Alexis. Here is the section with the siege weaponry, which we will put under the command. And Munich, what are you doing? You're the only person who knows how siege weapons work. Hildegard knows, but we'd have to pay her money. We probably don't even need to have somebody who is an expert in siege, machinery, whatever. I don't care. Somebody go in, start sieging that down. We have Sewell, the Devil, stark naked. The problem is that Twin Crowns will probably... There we go. They'll probably march into Montreal. And we've got a ton of pop-ups. Including the news that Sewell has died. In death, he puts on some clothes. I suppose you'd have to, yeah. You couldn't have him inside the coffin just like stark naked. He's passed away from heart failure, 76 years of age. The lunatic reincarnation of his, I think it was his grandfather, Blisky, or Bizhicky. What a chaotic life the poor man has had. It's now passed to his principalist daughter. We did a lot of work converting these people to Fog Song, or the people that I thought were going to inherit, especially Zachary, who was the first to end up being taken prisoner by Kira's grandmother, Morgan, and she made him a witch and gave him lots of traits, and then he became a drunkard of his own accord. And we restored him to power in this region, and now the whole thing has come undone. So we're back to crazy. Oh, well, at least she's Fog Song. But there you go. It's not too bad. If you die quickly, don't live as long as your father did. What obviously happened to the poor man is that we told him that he was going to have to sail all the ways down, and that killed him. That was what killed him, having to go home. He was at home, and then we raised his forces way up here, and then we told him go back down home, and it was just too much. It killed him. She doesn't bring any gold, but she brings dynasty renown and prestige. Thank you, Munich. Another great military commander. We've been invited to another feast in Huntingdon, so we might as well attend. We're going to come down in this direction and then do a bit of cross-country running because we can't go down the Hudson. And visit Saratoga Springs. We have Milford, Dover, and Manhattan, and then it's sail all the ways back up home. We could, but we won't, visit Augusta. Won't we? Why not? We could visit Augusta. We won't bother. I thought that was maybe the capital of Penobscot. It's, no, I'm not too sure why. I think we've already visited. Maybe it's been a while. Maybe they've repainted the place. And we're heading out with our best friend in the whole world, Inasha, who gave us the nickname The Cruel. We have 2 territories under siege by Twin Crowns. And our forces have just arrived. The Holy Order. I was waiting to see if maybe they would get their forces into the... if they would join them together. They were trying to run. They were trying to pull back. This army just standing there watching. You're okay, guys. You fire away. You're grand. We now control Alexis. The war continues. There is a scheme at court. My spymaster has come to me with grave news. While we do not know who, someone is plotting to kill me. We must stop the villain behind this. There are a lot of people who want to kill Kira, including... who is this? Master Peleg of Helen's host knows that Patriarch Cecil II, God rest his soul, is not the real father of Leia NaGeira, and that High Chief Angus, God rest his soul, is. If we decline, he exposes our disputed heritage secret. He wants a weak hook. Who is this man? He's a rather interesting figure. Gallows bait, flexible leader, scholar, wise man. He would make a fantastic physician. Never. We will decline. So it is known he has revealed my secret, dragging the names of good dead men through the dirt. We are now known as the Fornicator. Oh no. You absolute devil. Well, this is awkward. Just arriving at the feast with that news getting out. We're going to start to offer a bounty for whispers. So that's going to decrease the secrecy of opposing schemes. There's a 16% success chance on that assassination. At the moment, it's at 0% secrecy. So hopefully we'll start to discover some agents. And indeed, the money that we're losing is actually going to be covered by the Honoured to Serve perk. Vassals no longer refuse directives, and they will contribute more levies and money. So I would like, as we've gone down this far, to get Administrator, Diplomacy, and Stewardship, and it's entirely possible at that stage that we're going to have to head for Medicine and start working on that small health bonus and probably Fitness Expert to try and keep Kira alive to complete the conquest of Canada. Because we showed up to a feast. We have... how the hell... what kind of party did you have that you're scarred? Because we showed up to a feast, we've gained Eager Reveler trait and Legitimacy. Our Legitimacy level is now ordained. We shall depart. Continue on our cross-country journey, just as more forces are arriving to begin sieging down Twin Counties, or Twin Crowns. So for a single county, this is taking a tremendous amount of time because of the need to siege down regions to try and get that war score up. Hemlocker Man. Hemlocker Man? Yeah, sure, absolutely. We've just left a feast. It's become known that we cheated on our husband. He's our new lover. We won't marry him. And he's already bitten by frost. Inasha, my physician who absolutely hates me, do something for my recently found lover. He has lost mild frostbite. And our alliance with August Ather has ended. I have to try and figure out who the hell you are. So there is Irene, our son Cecil's wife. There is Akua, the wife of the ruler of Upper Quebec. And here is Drake, who we might be able to negotiate an alliance with. -2. We will begin the process of swaying him. As Kira continues wandering around, she has come across a hermit, Agricola. He would make a fantastic addition to our entourage. Now, it looks like somebody isn't happy that we are making off with their hermit, Ishmael, a vassal of Edmund. Well, Edmund took my county, so I'm taking your hermit. He is my garden hermit. And speaking of, we actually have a battle. So Twin Crowns brought their army up in this direction to hit our army that had the siege weaponry. I've lifted all of the sieges to go in and defend. And we've actually seen one of our allies die, just 24 years of age, slain in battle, a granddaughter of Helmar, who Kira executed. Power has now gone to her daughter, in a single county, her daughter, Barbara, who hates us. Oh, the devils. Here is Twin Crown's army. Where's it going? Don't tell me you're going for there. We've discovered that this mayor is scheming against me. She is Myrtle's marshal, and Myrtle is who we just visited. Let the traitor be known. In an absolute bout of desperation, Kira is going to marry Tyler Staffney. He practices voodoo, and he is the personal physician to High King Ulysses of the Riverlands. It's going to be a 300 prestige hit. We're going to unfortunately have to dump out High Chief Eric. That's going to make him unhappy. We'll put in this mayor, and the reason that we're doing this is because there's a 30% success chance at the moment out of a possible 50%. And the new king, Patriarch Tyler, will be put assisting with court intrigue. And I think we're going to have to redouble the guards, minus 100% success chance for opposing schemes like murder. So Kira is becoming very paranoid. That war comes to an end just as we had some forces coming up to possibly look at lifting the siege. That took a tremendous amount of time and effort to retake that area. Who actually held it? We hold it now. I think it might have been the fact that Israel became the ruler. I think he might have inherited from his mother. That's exactly what happened. And actually something that I forgot to do is to appoint a bodyguard. Haley NaGeira, our daughter. She's average. We will appoint her. And we could also terrify the court. Natural dread. We might look into that in future. We can appoint another bodyguard. Our lover Sherman, he's poor. Agricola, our garden hermit and bodyguard. Do you know what? Yeah, absolutely. That's how desperate we are at the moment. 58 years of age, Kira the Cruel continues to push towards the creation of the Empire of Canada. What a lengthy, multi-generational struggle this has been. There are still a number of blockades in the way, but as long as Kira can stay alive, she will achieve her goal. Staying alive, though, both in terms of her own personal health and holding off an assassination attempt. Well, that's the trouble. thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope that you will join me on the next one, because I need cannon fodder to throw in front of my assassins.